in the world's worst super stinking sneakers. When Stink goes on a field trip to the Gross Me Out exhibit, he figures out he has this amazing smelling ability. He also finds a poster for a Stinky Sneakers contest, but the whole contest gets flipped around when he gets a job to be a judge. He meets a person from NASA that has a job to sniff. Who will win the competition? You better hold your breath for Stink's stinky adventure.
Stink, Josh, and Ruth Rose keep getting letters. One day they get an empty one. They use clues and find out why it is empty. Is it really empty or not? You will have to read it to find out. You can find this book in the Meadowlark Library.
Hi, I'm Henry Kraft, back for the 4th round of the Bobcat Book Madness. The book that I chose for the 4th round is called This Hotel is Haunted. It's a Geronimo Stilton book. Geronimo Stilton was called to investigate mysterious events at the famous Grand Hotel in New Mouse City. There was a ghost haunting the hotel and scaring all the guests away. It was wearing clanking knight armor, and it had a ball and chain with it. Geronimo doesn't know that ghosts exist, but he was pretty scared. Will Geronimo solve this case, or will he not? Look at the book and see if...
Have you ever read Stink and the Shark Sleepover? Well, if not, you should. In this book, their mom and dad went on a trip to have a sleepover at the aquarium. All Stink wants to do is see the sharks. They're told a scary story, and Stink doesn't know if he can sleep. So, if you walk by this book, don't leave it unsatisfied. It is a good book. You can find this in your Scholastic book orders. Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. When Percy figures out he's a half-god and monsters try to attack him, Zeus and Poseidon, two gods, are arguing, and they're going to start a war, so Percy has to stop them. Who will win, Percy or Zeus? I really like this book, and you should read it yourself.
Have you ever misplaced something? Well, I know I have. In Magic School Bus, the search for the missing bones, Miss Frizzle's class has to go on a hunt to find misplaced bones that were supposed to go in their costume. Will they make it back in time for the Halloween party with their costumes complete? You will have to read the book found in Miss Fortman's library to find out.
Have you ever read Beezus and Ramona? If you haven't, I recommend this to people that like troublemakers. One of the problems in this story is that Ramona, the little sister, hides from Beezus. Beezus looks all over the house and still can't find Ramona. Will Beezus ever find Ramona? To find out, you will have to read Beezus and Ramona.
Hi, my name is Finley, and I've been Mr. Book is Berserk. It is all about the AJ's kids, and they are trying to finish a math lesson, but Mr. Book keeps on interrupting them. Finally, the principal takes away everything the school could have. You don't want that to happen. So Mr. Book says, let's dig for gold. And guess who gets arrested? Oh, and I found this book at the classroom library. Don't want to spoil it all. Well, I don't want to spoil it all. I think this book goes to kids who like mysteries and surprises.
You know how Stilton is afraid of everything? Well, when his family tricks him, he has to go on quite the adventure, and face all of his fears. It is in Miss Fortman's class. Have fun.
Bad Kitty. Bad Kitty Meets the Baby is about where Uncle Murphy comes over and he comes and has to babysit the dog and Bad Kitty. When his real parents come home, a big surprise comes, and and his whole family comes over to meet it.
Jack and Annie meets two ninjas that take them both where they find a cave of a ninja master. Or will the evil samurai get them first? To learn more, read this book, Night of the Ninjas, and you won't leave this book unsatisfied without care.
I just read a book called Junie B. Jones and the Yucky Blucky Fruitcake. A school carnival is coming up and she knows she's going to win. Once she gets there, bad surprises come to her. To know what the bad surprises are, and the only good thing that happens to her, read the Yucky Blucky Fruitcake. You can find this book in Miss Spielman's classroom library.
The book Whitewater is the best of the best. It's about a boy named Greg, but when he goes whitewater rafting, his dad gets bit by a rattlesnake. So Greg and his half-brother James have to make it through the rapids by themselves. This awesome book is good for readers that like adventure and courage. It is found in Mrs. Spielman's classroom. Goodbye.
Have you read It's Halloween, I'm Turning Green? Well, you should, because I suggest this book to kids that like mischief. You have to read this book to find out what happens in It's Halloween, I'm Turning Green.
I took Olivia's advice and read The Magic Finger. And let me tell you that now you need to take my advice and read The Magic Finger. Because if you don't, you're missing out on some funny stuff. The Magic Finger is a book about a special girl that can't control her finger. And when her friends go hunting and she tells them to stop but they don't listen, the finger points. And pow! I would tell you what happens next, but you need to read this book to see. I consider this book for you.
The Real Lucky Charm is about a girl named Maya who wanted to sign up for basketball. One day, Maya's dad gave her a charm that had a basketball on it. Whenever she rubbed it, it would help her with things she struggled on. You can find this book in Miss Fortman's class.
Have you read Amber Brown? Well, if not, you should. It is because it is all about Amber Brown. Her best friend Justin is moving away, and they do not want him, and she does not want him to. Amber and Justin try to beg Justin's parents to not move away, but he still has to anyway. If you want to learn about how their friendship is and how this book ends, well, then curl up and read, and thank you for tuning in. Hi. So I just got done reading Geronimo Stilton and the Haunted Hotel. Geronimo Stilton and the Haunted Hotel is a great book. There's a ghost, but is the ghost really real? Or did he just dress up like it? Dun dun dun! To find out, you will have to read this book. So take my word for it, because it's a great book. You can find this book probably in your own library. but I found it in my personal library.
Abraham Lincoln was a president that loved people. When he became president, he freed the slaves. My favorite part is the end. You will have to find out why. You will have to ask me to get this book or buy it at the bookstore.
Austin here again with Franny Casey. This adventure, I think it's the last one, so you guys don't have to hear me talking about it again. Like, you know, she lives in the attic, and she's going on a journey because her name is Franny Kissy Pie Steen, and she goes in time to get her name changed when she's a little baby, and then she wants to go forward, in the future, and then she finds her, and that's her future self when she's a teenager. Don't want to spoil it for you. And then this is Austin signing off.
I'm Coca Kuchkin. Have you read the World at War series? Well, if you haven't, Battle of the Coral Sea would be a good place to jump in. Battle of the Coral Sea is when the Americans learn about that the Japans are after an island and have taken an island. So they send their fleet out to find them. But they never really did find them. The Japans also send their fleet out to find them. It was about on a few days, like probably, I don't know how many days it was actually, but as many more days at a time than when the planes actually spotted each other. When the planes spotted each other, they returned back to their carrier and got a squadron to attack. And when they attacked, I'll show you what they're forming, like what they did. Just let me find that page for you. So you can see right here how the planes move. When the planes move, they usually attacked somewhere through here. But if they didn't make a damage, there was no damage. But you can see how the Americans made their fleet move like right through here and there. And then Japan's fleet like this and then there. And they also attacked the island they'd captured. But then also they attacked one ship which sank. The Americans did, but the Japans also attacked them in a solid formation, I'd say, and sank two of their ships, I think. It was either two or one, but they also sank two Japan ships. Well, thank you for listening. Battle of the Coral Sea was a good victory for the Americans in World War II against the Japans who bombed Pearl Harbor in 1941. Bye. Thank you for listening.
Stink in the Ultimate Thumb Wrestling Smackdown. Oh no, Stink gets a U in sports on his report card. The U stands for unsatisfactory. He's got to find a sport soon to change his grade. What about thumb wrestling?
You should really read Franny Kirstein, The Friend That Forgot Time. It's about Franny Kirstein is angry because people laughed at her name. So she went back in time to change her name, but something went wrong. You should time travel to this book, found in Miss Simmons's library.